Feeling great. Feeling really good, boys. This is the part of the year that we all love to be around the footy, so I can't wait for this weekend. The matchup's unbelievable.
Well, I'm putting you under pressure straight away, both you blokes.
Okay.
G. Alexander, C. Smith, and a thing called the Early Crow. So I'm going to get you to lock in tips even before you have the sides announced tomorrow and any possible suspensions. Okay, so
your early crow last week actually it paid off, didn't it? The Roosters. You went early crow the Roosters over the Bunnies. Did we have a bet on that game?
On the back of the Burgess news. Yeah, the unrest of the Burgess. What was the bet? You were...
I can't remember what we decided the loser had to do.
Well, I'll come up with something.
So bet's cancelled. So bet's off. Yeah.
So early crow tips. Let's go. We know who's playing. We know when and where it would seem. So the finals will kick off with Broncos against the Storm, and of course radically different lineups to those that played last Thursday night. I mean, how does any sort of tips to get? Well, you just dismiss the other night, do you? Do you dismiss every facet of it?
Yeah,
with
I think
all the
so,
players
Vossy.
Returning, Cameron?
Yeah, I think so, Vossy. If you look at that, you look at both sides, right? But from a Broncos point of view, like they got the loss, okay, but the majority of that football side won't be taking part this week. There'll only be a couple of players involved. So the guys that weren't there, the top liners like Carrigan, Haas, Walsh, Reynolds, Stack, all these guys, like they would have been sitting there watching that game, but they don't take away any sort of mental scars from it because they know that they have their own belief in what they can do.
So what does that mean on the tip front?
I agree. That means that with 11 players out or 12 players for each side out, forget what happened on the weekend. I'm locking in the Melbourne Storm to continue their run over the Brisbane Broncos.
Okay, all right. Locked in.
Locked in. Early crow.
Can I ask you, fellas, in all seriousness, is it a blanket rule that a week off does actually freshen you up, that everyone would want that everyone would be better for having a week off, or not? That's not necessarily everyone who likes that. Do some players like to? No. This end of the season, I'd rather keep playing.
I think it depends on circumstances, Vossy. If you're travelling quite well and you're in a really good position to be able to rest a few, I reckon players would take that opportunity. If you look at that Melbourne lineup, there's a couple of boys in there that have played a lot of footy this year. Harry Grant's played the entire State of Origin series, played pretty much every game of the season as well, and he's a little bit banged up. So I think that 1 week off will do him the world of good. So you'll see a very sort of energised player come out this Friday night, I believe. And I'm with Brandy. I think Melbourne, I really do. There's just some sort of hoodoo that they've got over the Broncos at the moment. They have not lost to the Broncos at Suncorp Stadium since 2009. That's some sort of record.
Does it matter that the Broncos had a rest in round 25 as a club? They had a bye. Do you think that, so they have a rest in round 25, they play round 26, then they'll have a rest again in round 27.
Yeah.
Does that have an impact? Like, is that not enough football, not enough momentum, or does that just go out, forget all that, and they got their stars back, and it's just a new game?
Yeah, just a new game, I reckon, Brandy.
Yeah.
I reckon it all goes out the window. And again, like that's a side where a lot of their top liners have played a lot of football as well, and they're all the elite players, right? They played State of Origin and all that sort of stuff, so they know what's required in the big games.
All right, so you've both locked in Melbourne to kick it off with a victory on Friday night. Now we'll get to Saturday. Penrith and the Warriors. Can the Warriors come up with something under Andrew Webster? They've rested players, so they've lost the last round. Have they got the game? These two sides clashed at Magic Round. It was pretty good. Have they got the game to beat Penrith? What's your thoughts, Cameron?
I don't think so. No, I think we've seen across the weekend, Penrith with all their stars back. That's pretty much their strongest lineup, I believe, that they've got, and they went to work. It was pretty much what we've become accustomed to over the last couple of years, and I think they'll be that. If they play anywhere near their best, which I believe they will, I think that'll be good enough to take care of the Warriors this week, at home particularly.
Okay, now, Brandy, we quite obviously know you're going to tip Penrith, but I want you to wear a Warriors cap if you can. You did play for the Warriors. What's the game? What's the biggest threat that the Warriors have for the Panthers? What can they threaten them with, this Warriors lineup, given that they've lost Metcalf, Tamare Martin the other day, defensive, maybe
had his
not
moments,
quite spot on. Johnson comes back, Fanua Blake comes back, Charles Nickel-Cook stars, plenty coming back, quite obviously. Is there a threat that Penrith would be, more concerned about than others?
Well, I guess if the Warriors can maintain defensive pressure, which is what the Eels did to Penrith 2 weeks ago. Pressure from the inside, just kept it up all, and the effort areas, and the Warriors have been very good at those little effort areas. That's what Andrew Webster has brought into their game. Sean Johnson kicking and leading the chase. So if they bring all their little effort areas, Andrew, and things fall their way, and through the middle of the field is where they're most effective. I think the work of Wade Egan, Tohu Harris, and Adam Fanua-Blake, it's a very good combination through the middle of the field. So if they can get some sort of roll on, and Johnson's, can have one of his better games, well, there's no doubt they could challenge the Panthers. And,
is there any Vossi? Is there any word on Tohu Harris whether he'll play this week?
Well, he's been strapped up all year, hasn't he? Like, seriously, he's been held together by bandaging. He is an old trotter. So you'd have to think, is there a percentage, like a player like him who's, spiritual leader, maybe not the C next to his name, but does he take the field 80% fit? 85, 90, like do you say, bang, we got through the season this far?
Well, it's a tough one for Andrew Webster, isn't it? Because they're guaranteed another shot. But boy, if you win this one, the advantage that you do have by having the week off, and then if they were to beat Penrith, it's a week off, and then a prelim final in New Zealand. Like, it's huge, huge benefit that they could take away.
I think Tohu Harris plays. If Tohu Harris doesn't play, the chances of the Warriors beating the Panthers has just dropped a couple of pegs.
Well, I'll say this, okay? This might be. I think Adam Fanua-Blake can be the best prop on the field on Saturday. I think he can have a greater contribution than Fisher, Harris, and Leota. He's had an amazing season, Adam Fanua-Blake. I think it rests on his back. Follow Adam Fanua-Blake, rip in, and others to follow. That's where I think they're a chance. The Warriors are Saturday night Sharks Roosters. I think most on balance have this as the toughest game to tip. I don't care where they play, really. I'd still be scrambling to come up with a clear idea of what's going to happen.
Well, Joey Manu possibility of coming back. I think they were half thinking playing him last week against the Rabbitohs. So, to risk him in that game, it must mean that he's doing okay. Like the hamstring injury wasn't as bad as what we all thought. But I'm tipping the Roosters. I'm going to go with the Roosters in this one because outside of Newcastle, the Roosters have got the best form of anyone in the competition. They've won 5 in a row. And they're a completely different footy side to what we've seen from the rest of the year prior to these 5 wins. Like their defence is strong. They're showing a lot of resilience, like a lot of the great Rooster sides we've seen in the past. But also, they seem to have worked out their attack. They all seem on the same page and very just calm and confident in what they're doing. And guys like Luke Keary, and the addition of Sammy Walker back in the footy side, they're playing extremely well at the moment.
Lieutenant Dan, big smile on his face. Lieutenant now, he's all these Roosters fans, they're back.
Cock-a-doodle-doo. The Roosters up and about.
Yeah, up and about.
Well, you know what? I wasn't that impressed with the Sharks yesterday. The Raiders are a gritty side. They made them, they pushed them for the first 40 or 50 minutes. Then they were without a player. Seb Chris gets sent off. I'm going to go the Roosters too, off the back of Cam mentioned that their goal line defence against Souths was very good. Was as good as I've seen it. And there is some rhythm with their attack. And now that Sam Walker's back, you can expect the unexpected and little off-the-cuff plays that he came up with and laid on their first couple of tries. So I think the Roosters have enough star power in that side to really, and enough grittiness defensively to make it a tough day for the Sharks. So I'm going to go the Roosters as well.
You boys are all on the same page. By the way, a text came through. Vossie Webster said even if Luke was fit, Luke Metcalf, that is, Martin would still play the 6. So putting faith in tomorrow night.
Hasn't played
Luke
for a long
Metcalf
time.
has been fantastic.
A long time out of the game. Tamari Martin, but was good. Before he broke his leg. Just one for Cam too. While Ben Cummins retired. Or hung up his boots after the game at Congra, and we just got a text. Was Ben Cummins the best referee Cam ever assisted? I love the referee jokes.
There is one of.
One
of. Very good, Ben. Yeah. Congratulations to wonderful career.
Yes. There we go. Yeah, again, just this pile on. Andrew Abdo stats. Ben Cummins was a great ref, but 97% of NRL fans believe best ref ever is still Cameron Smith. So there you go. They'll never let it go, the fan. They'll never let it go with you.
That's
so,
good.
That's good. I can see you saying, yeah, through gritted too. That's really good. Laughing inside. And the last game, I'm thinking, boys, you will remain on the same page, Knights Raiders. It's hard to have any sort of argument for the Raiders. The only way the Raiders win is if the Knights drop off their game. Like, their game beats most teams at the moment. So it would be no disgrace for Canberra to go to Newcastle, play well, and still get dusted up. Like, not just beaten.
Yep.
Raiders could play well and get beaten by 20, such as the form of the Knights.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm all on the Knights here. They absolutely love playing at home. We know that. It's going to be a full house Sunday afternoon. Yeah, I just don't see this juggernaut pulling up right now. They could well and truly go to a prelim.
Yeah, could be momentum just carry them through the finals as well. It's been a remarkable end of the season for them. 9 wins to finish the regular year. Jordan Rapiner, if he doesn't score points, I don't know where the points are coming from for Canberra. I just don't think they've got enough points in them to beat Newcastle. So
you do
lock in Newcastle.
You do realise that after yesterday, I just think there's going to be surgery to the Raiders side ahead of the finals. So I think White has to go back to 5'8". That's the first one. Jared Croker, does he now come in? So you thought that, well, that's it. But now Chris is definitely going to be suspended. Does Jared Croker come back in? Wouldn't that be some sort of fairy tale? He got 3 minutes last week, gets scrubbed from the team yesterday. He might come back this week, take over the goal kicking. So they got to do. They have to do things different. No Papali'i there. He's gone. So I think Tom Starling needs to start at hooker. Now, Zach Wolford played okay yesterday, but they've got to be more dynamic. Canberra to beat Newcastle.
They need points. They can be gritty and they can sort of put aside off their rhythm, and that's what they did to the Sharks yesterday. They just play how the Raiders play, tough. But they need points. They need players that can score points. That can create
now, Cameron, here's a big one for you because you've sat in dressing rooms plenty of time, and I don't know whether Craig Bellamy ever had to play like the us versus them card, and no one wants us to win and siege mentality because that's what Canberra are clinging to. This weekend, that in Ricky we trust. He will create that environment that no one thinks we're going to win. Back to the wall, we're gone, this will be our finest hour. Does it work? Like, how long or how hard can you play that card, or how many times can you play it?
Well, no, it definitely does work. There's no doubt about that, and I don't think there's any coach in the game, maybe Wayne Bennett, that can build that storyline for his players during the week and just get that in their mindset. That's their mindset, that entire work. It's us versus the world. They all say we can't win it. We're the outsiders of this entire final series. We're coming into it with a negative points differential and, people saying we shouldn't be there. But, if there's any coach in this final series that can cause an upset by getting their players up by having that mindset, it's Ricky. The only thing with that is it's a long final series. If that's
short term, this is short term.
If that's your mentality, that's you got to drive that for a month and get the players just to continue that mentality for 4 weeks to go all the way. It could work this week. There's no doubt about that. And we've seen on a couple of days ago against the Sharkies, they're they've just got this ability, and Brandy, sort of alluded to it before. They've got this ability to drag opposition teams down to their own level. Not saying that they're not as good as other teams, but to the style of footy that they play in that just grindy, gritty style, and it just
first half yesterday.
What it does
well,
is
they had the Broncos in the same situation. Like it was, when Rapana was sin binned, that try that the Brisbane scored put them 2 in front. Like Canberra were in front at that stage of the game. There was only 20 minutes left. So they've been able to do that with sides for 50 and 60 minutes. They just something happens in the final 20 minutes of a game where they just fall over.
Yeah, the last 20 minutes, that's no team has scored less points in the last 20 this year than the Canberra Raiders in the NRL, and it's only like 4 or 5 points a game average. Now, before a break, Cameron, you have not you have revealed you haven't heard the Andrew Abdo speech.
No.
Than stats. So he's gone the stats route on Saturday night in awarding the minor premiership JJ Giltinan Shield to the Panthers. Now, Charlie Goose got here at 4:58 this morning when he's on air at 5. So that's another story, Cameron. I need you to have a word with the young fella.
Preparation's everything.
Yeah, that's right. Preparation 2 minutes before the show starts. But he's come good following. So he's put together a new stats segment that we're going to try and float today, and whether this becomes a regular, Andrew Abdo might be able to fit it into his busy schedule, but if he can produce these sorts of numbers, it'll certainly make you listen. Let's go to Charlie's new segment.
He's a stat man!
Penrith Panthers have had 54% possession this year. That's 3% more than any other club, which clearly shows effective strategy. An 83% completion rate on your sets, which is 2% higher than any other club in the competition. You've scored more points than any other club. And on top of that all, you've run 45,000 metres with the ball in hand. That is 10% higher than any other club. Dylan Edwards at fullback has made 193 assists. That is phenomenal.
He's a stat man!
So there it is. Do you get all those numbers, Cameron? I saw you writing things down there.
Oh, I did.
The 45,000
and then I got lost
meters.
after the first one. I gave up. What? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I've got nothing for you,
Speechless.
boys.
Yes.
Wow. 193 assists for Dylan Edwards.
Yeah.
That's quite a season, isn't
assists
it?
of what are they? Assisting with what?
You're the goat, you work it out.
Wow. That's amazing. No, Andrew, well done. But, just get up there and congratulate Penrith on a wonderful season.
Yeah.
Hand over the JJ Giltinan Shield and just step to the side, mate.
If HG and Roy, if HG and Roy are still on air and they have names, I think that Andrew Abdo's new name would be Andrew Beautiful Mind Abdo, because he's just produced these numbers, these figures, and that's just mind blowing. So he's done incredibly well there, Andrew Abdo, paying tribute to the Panthers. He meant well. He meant well in honouring the minor premiers. 23 after 8. The Goats here. Get your questions in 0457 736 736.
With our tennis update, Vossi. I know we spoke to Brett Phillips, but it is over now. Francis Tiafoe beat Rinky Hijikata 6-4 in the third set, so he lost in straight sets, which is disappointing, but it's been a great tournament for him.
Sorry to butt in. I didn't know the tennis desk was just being put out there, you in Flushing Meadow there. We've been running... Where did the sound effect go, Lieutenant Dan? And we're trying to convince listeners that we're actually broadcasting from Flushing Meadow this morning. Can you get some court action? Oh, there's probably no noise because the match is finished. Is that what you're saying? There's no background. Oh, no, there it is. They're still playing outside the court.
Yes,
There you go. So we are here.
Rinky's been beaten. Freshwater Stormer says, I think for the Panthers-Warriors game, we need to go down the Joel and Fletch areas and start referring to it as the hair, knuckle, spoon stealing fuel thief cup. Freshwater Stormer.
That's a bit rough.
That is a bit rough.
That's a savage thing. Now, we have been talking all morning about whether the Sharks should be allowed to play at a ground that is under construction, an 11,000 capacity. Should they have a home final? As a result, Shauna Central Coast, Cameron, may have a solution. Could you handle Sean's idea, please?
Good morning, Sean.
Well, this is very good morning to you, Cameron. I'm a New South Wales supporter. I didn't think I was ever going to talk to you in my life. But anyway, I'm also a Rooster supporter, but that's to one side. Why don't they just whack a big screen up in there in the mall? like a live site, Matilda style. You know, that they could, the punters could get a kebab or a pizza or something like that, and watch the game and watch the Mighty Chooks get on top of them.
From where are you? Oh, are you saying they still get
Mall
shark
at
Cronulla,
Cronulla.
but then have live sites around
Cronulla
Cronulla? So there's right Cronulla Mall with the kebab.
Yeah.
The kebab's a very important element, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. So you set up the big screen like they did with the Matildas, the live sites and all that, and then maybe on the beach you could fit a screen in down there, and the cameras could cut to it when Teddy scores another try and the disappointment on their faces and things like that. A bit of colour.
Well, Cameron, respond please, Cameron. Is this idea, has it got legs? So we do still play in Cronulla,
let's do it. Yep.
but we build a little mini stadium in the mall and have kebabs and the beach as well. We build a stadium and you can watch it on a big screen.
Yep, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. I think it's a great idea. We've seen the positive vibes around all the Matilda sites. I reckon, not that I don't think we'll get that many people to the Sharkies Roosters one, but yeah, let's do it. Just in the Shire. In the Shire.
11,000 in the ground and 35,000 outside the ground.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Somewhere. I don't know why I'm doing this, Sean, but you're getting a Signet Boost power bank for your car. I think you got the kebab part interested me. I like the idea of a kebab. So you're going to have a Signet Boost power bank. Best charges that you can get. You've got to have them. I've got 3. Charge up your phone, and you can keep coming up with outstanding ideas. Good on you, Sean of the Central Coast.
Good on you, Sean.
Buying in there. Yeah, I don't mind the idea of the live site, but does that justify Cronulla home final? What? Anyway,
well,
I
don't know how that helps out or what it does, but it's not a bad idea anyway. Love the live site idea. Then South can come and watch winning teams, says the Rooster Man. See, I've been waiting all morning for the Roosters to get. Well, normally the Roosters are very good at it. Yeah. Out
of the news, boys, I think it is time to really rip into the Cowboys and the Rabbitohs, major disappointments of this year. The boys will have their say, Cameron Smith and Greg Alexander, right here on SEN, but Vanessa's standing by with an outstanding, hard-hitting news bulletin. On the text, this one from the Southside Eel. New South Wales government spends $1 billion on stadiums, and the NRL plays its big games in a tin shed in the Shire. Go figure. So the tin shed now is Shark Park, getting a bit of heat this morning.
That's it's the whole side. One side can't go there. Building, construction. I'm
talking bigger picture here, Cameron. Allianz Stadium, and I've been lucky enough to go and watch rugby league on both sides of the world.
Yes.
Allianz Stadium is the equivalent of the best, if not the best, I've ever been into. And we're about to have a final series where not a single game
it's crazy.
could be played there.
It's crazy. I think I completely get the playing the home final at your home ground and all that sort of stuff. But I used to love as a young fella watching the entire final series played at the footy stadium, which is now Allianz. Which is now Allianz, right? But the Sydney Football Stadium, it was the hub of the finals. I used to love watching it there, and now that with all the upgrades and perfect place to play rugby league finals.
Yeah. When did we stop doing that? When did we start, playing home finals?
Quite some time
ago.
Quite some time ago now.
But Cam, everyone just knew where finals were being played. Players, fans, everyone.
Yep.
Well, there they are. They're at Sydney Footy Stadium. That's it.
Yep. I do like the fact, we've sort of moved with the times a little bit, and so teams like Broncos and Melbourne and the Warriors will be getting an opportunity to play finals footy in front of their home fans. But when you're playing in a situation like this, like Roosters v Sharks in a what is it now, the capacity at Shark Park?
11,000?
11,000. Please, come on. Let's just bite the bullet. Go and play in the big stadiums.